On this episode of the Range Minded Podcast, we talk with Angela Yancey. I have had the pleasure of knowing Angela for several years now, and for some reason, we have never had her on the show. Well, I fixed that issue. Angela has been a two-way supporter her whole life, from growing up in the South to sharing her passion for the industry with everyone she talks to. Plus, she knows her way around a firearm as well. Something she didn't share in the show is that she's part of a national women's shooting competition team sponsored by Tactical Solutions. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I had in the conversation. So, sit back and enjoy A Night with Angela Yancey. All right, gang, welcome back. This is Steve with the Range Minded Podcast. Thank you for spending time with us. We really appreciate your time. Again, Nick is out. He's got a lot of cool stuff coming up that he needs to take care of. But we do have a special guest, and I'm absolutely excited to have her on. Her name is Angela Bonds. Angela, tell us about yourself.
Hi, Steve. Actually, my name is Angela Yancey.
Oh, Yancey Bonds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Bonds was my maiden name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. About myself, I'm originally from Alabama, living in Idaho right now. I've been here for 35 years. Even though I've been here longer than I was in Alabama, I'm still from Alabama. So,
Still a Southern girl?
Still a Southern girl. Do not like the snow. Do not like this cold.
We've only got a little bit of snow to deal with.
Just a little. Yeah. And a little cold, right?
Yeah.
But I am married. I have 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. I have 3 stepchildren and 6 grandchildren with my stepchildren.
Right
so
on.
We've got a busy family.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you grew up in the South.
I did.
What brought you to Idaho?
I grew up in a town that's right next to Fort Rucker, Alabama. It's a military base. So we have a lot of people come and go. And a girl that I became best friends with when her stepdad was retired and brought back to active duty because he was a Chinook instructor pilot.
Oh,
those are rare.
Yeah.
And that's when the Saudi war was happening. And so he was brought back to active duty and they came to Fort Rucker. And so we were best friends instantly. And that was just before freshman year of high school. And then he when it was all done, he retired again just after our junior year. And he came out to Idaho. I don't know if you remember Diet Center.
I don't.
Yeah, Diet Center was a business right here in Rexburg that was run by the Fergusons. And he came to be their private helicopter pilot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so so I came out after graduating, 1 week after graduating high school, just to visit for the summer. I was enrolled in college back in Alabama, but you're 18 years old and 2,000 miles away from parents was really nice. So I stayed.
You stuck around.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Married a local boy, divorced, married another local boy, still married to him. So I'm still here.
Right on. Well, we'll take you.
No, thank you.
So we originally met, probably 2014, I'm guessing, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess let's step back a bit. Were you involved with firearms before that?
Yes, my dad raised us in firearms. He's always been a NRA instructor.
Okay.
We have a gun club down there, Tri-State Gun Club, that I go and shoot at every time I go back to Alabama. But he was the president there for 30 plus years. So I was raised around guns, strict safety. Started shooting, I guess, probably about 5 years old.
Okay.
Always
Awesome.
had a gun. Yeah. Competed a little bit, that type of thing. Then when I came out here and then you get married, have kids, life takes all that turn. So for about 20 years, I didn't shoot much. And so just shortly before I met you, got started with Women of Caliber and got back into shooting. So
awesome. So when you came back into the shooting sports, did anything seem different or was it just kind of like riding a bicycle?
It was like riding a bicycle. Although I still had much to learn.
We all do.
Yeah,
That journey never ever ends.
that is true.
So you got involved with Women of Caliber, right?
Right.
In
I don't know if you remember Corey.
Yep.
Corey Gersteller. She was actually her husband liked to shoot, and she was actually terrified of guns. And her solution to that was to try and start like-minded women gun club shooting type thing. And so she put a message out. I don't even remember how I came across it, but I took a chance, and she just had a small meeting in Idaho Falls at a park that I had a hard time finding. I almost turned back. And I think that, that's one of those moments where fork in the road. If I had turned back, I wouldn't be where I am today, because she was a big part of that. Yeah, so we met, and there's about 5 ladies there, and we just got talking and got going. And because of my past experience, she was really super excited about that. So her passion and desire to bring ladies together and my knowledge combined, and we started Women of Caliber.
That's awesome. And so just started with the 5 ladies, and when well, I guess when I left the range here in Idaho Falls, there was a lot of ladies involved.
We had a membership of 121 at our highest.
Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And so when you were working with them, did you help teach? What were some of your roles there?
Well, we put it together like you would, like any kind of like other organization. Corey was the president, and I was like, well, I'm an accountant, so, and of course you volunteer, and boom, I was the treasurer. And then, so we all kind of took roles, and then we just kind of went from there to start talking to ladies, start, finding people, setting up, what we were going to do. And the main thing that we wanted to get done was training. We thought that was the most important thing, was to start training ladies, because the more familiar they were with firearms, you take the fear away from it, take, those type of things. And then it just kind of it got pretty social too. So when we were at our largest, I would say a majority of those, it was more of a social thing than an actual desire for shooting.
Yeah.
But Guns and Gear was really nice to have the indoor matches and the assistance there. And when we started finding coaches, Pete Italiano and then Dave Cook. Dave's been with us since day one, and he's been great.
Dave's a stud. I need to get him on here too.
Yes, he is awesome. And he still calls us his ladies. We've always been his ladies. But yeah, and so we kind of went from there. We kept it going for a long time, for about 5 years. And then we decided, this really needs to get back towards really focused on competing and training and shooting, regularly. Yeah. So that's when we organized the competition team. And so we started that like 2015, and started out with just about like 5, 6, 7 ladies that were interested in competing regularly and training regularly. And then went from there to, I think our highest membership was probably 21 on the competition team. So we'd get sponsors, and the requirements was to compete regularly, and we'd have training. And so we did quite a bit, but we did all kinds of training for the ladies. Even when it was just the club, we did self-defense, and Pete was awesome to teach, taser training, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Pete's a well of knowledge. He's amazing. That's another guy I still haven't contacted to get on the show.
Yeah,
I really need to, but he's so busy all the time. I don't want to bother him.
Yeah, that's tough.
So starting Women of Caliber, was there some unforeseen challenges that maybe you didn't anticipate and then was able to overcome?
When it first started, a lot of great group of ladies, wonderful ladies. And then, some of them, like I said, wanted to be more, social, and, and were willing to do some of the classes and stuff, but some of them didn't want to really shoot. So that was kind of frustrating for us. But we kept it going a long time because we would have our meetings. We would always do something educational with firearms or defense, that type of thing. So we felt like we were still reaching them, even if we weren't shooting. But when we decided to really focus on shooting is when it got narrowed down. And then towards the end, I love, women are wonderful, but imagine 120 women trying to get along.
Well, honestly, guys are no better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's pretty awesome. So being involved that deeply in a so you can hear my dog upstairs
That's okay.
in a ladies shooting group,
Mhm.
that's fantastic. So that's actually kind of the reason I took my instructor training, was to help kids and help women, because I could see that was the future of the industry, right?
Absolutely.
And no matter how hard I could have tried, I would have never been able to reach that many women as another lady shooter could. There's just no way. So
Right.
I think it's awesome. So now that brings us to where we first met. I was working at Guns and Gear, and that's how I met Angela. She's awesome. I many times I watched you and Corey and the rest of the ladies shoot, and by far, ladies are way better shooters than men, by far.
Do you want me to tell you my dad's story on that?
Sure.
He was instructing for 30, 40 years, and he said he would teach a woman any day, hands down, over most men. He says men show up with, like, I was born a man, gun's just natural in my hand, I know what I'm doing. But he says when women came, they were completely coachable. They were like, I don't know anything about this, tell me what I need to do this right.
Yeah, they're absolutely humble. Yeah, I I can remember many times, like, we would have tourists come in, right? And there was a couple gals from somewhere in Europe, never touched a gun before. Within 10, 15 minutes, we had them shooting, 50-cent piece size groups at 12 feet for never, ever touching a firearm before.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, you get a guy in there and he knows way too much.
Right.
And they're tough to teach. That's awesome. So you mentioned your competitive team, and you had quite a few ladies on there, and you've been pretty successful that way too, I would say.
Yeah, we the competition team was tons of fun. We would shoot regularly at SEEPs, Southeast Idaho Practical Shooters, and we set it up to where they had to shoot at least one match a month and had to do at least one training a month, and we kept that up for a couple of years. And then, of course, Women of Caliber kind of phased out because SEEPs had your same kind of thought. Tim Egan was the president at the time, and he told me, he goes, I haven't been able to reach the women shooters, he says, so he welcomed us in with open arms, because when we were shooting out in the desert off Sunnyside Road, there was a guy that had property out there, and we that's where we were holding our matches, and I was doing IDPA style matches because that's how I grew up, was IDPA. And so it was kind of nice to go from that to an actual gun range and organized matches. And we ran ladies leagues. He set us up so I could use the range to do ladies leagues and that type of thing. And so the more that ladies got to shooting the regular matches at SEEPs, that's when we started kind of phasing out Women of Caliber, because they just kind of melted into SEEPs, and that's what we're part of now.
Awesome. Yeah, and I still see your guys' posts on there. You guys are still shooting like crazy, which is great.
Yeah.
So I remember a few years ago, the NRA did a competition, right? And you'd shoot the target, then you'd take a picture and then mail in the target. I can't remember what it was. And you did pretty well at that too. I remember you did better than most people.
Yeah. Thank you.
You definitely outshot me, which was pretty easy to do anyways. But so what was that experience like?
That was fun. I think we only did it the once.
Yeah.
I remember Corey participated. I think a couple of the other ladies participated. It was fun to do. It was because it was so organized and you knew exactly what you needed to do and
Yeah.
what to do at the target. So that was fun. I haven't done anything like that since, but we also did I don't know if you were there when they held oh, I want to say it's not shot. Oh, top.
Our little Top Shot thing.
Yeah, your little top shop competition.
Yeah, yeah. I actually drew up all those shooting stages.
Oh,
I
really?
think I made a lot of people upset
Oh, how come?
because some of them were a little too hard.
Oh,
I guess the very first one, I don't remember that very first stage was there was those 3 booths and you had to load the magazine and then shoot before the time ran out. Do you remember that?
yes.
Yeah, I had a lot of people said that was way too hard at the beginning because we took out a lot of shooters that very first stage.
Oh, wow.
But that's good. It's a competition, right? You got to have the best of the best.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun, and I wish we could do that again.
Yeah, I think that was only held 1 year, wasn't it?
Yeah, we just did it the 1 year, and I'm not even sure why, because it brought a lot of people in.
It did. It would have been something fun to continue annually.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, you haven't shot just locally. You've shot more regionally, haven't you?
I have. I I think my highest matches at SEEPS 1 year was like 88 matches for the year.
Holy cow!
So a lot. Anytime I go back to Alabama, I always shoot a match at my dad's range. And that's cowboy. I've shot cowboy down there because he has all the cowboy gear.
That's awesome.
So I shoot cowboy down there, and then IDPA. And then I have gone and shot World Rimfire 2 years and World Speed Shoot, which is still challenge in Alabama. I did that last
awesome.
October. That was lots of fun. I've done a couple of matches, down in Boise and that type of thing, but I haven't done anything like in Utah or Wyoming or that type of thing. I'd like to get more doing those.
Yeah. So when you go to those larger matches, is there a pretty equal representation of male and female shooters, or is it majority men shooting?
And there's a equal representation.
Oh,
well,
awesome.
I wouldn't say completely equal, but pretty close. There's lots of lady shooters at those, so it's really nice to see.
Awesome. And when you're going there, do you notice? I mean, did the ladies flock together, or I mean, is it a pretty good group of people? Like they're all hanging out and enjoying their time.
Yeah, everybody's mixing together.
That's good. It seems like, I don't know, maybe this isn't true or not, but it seems like, at least from the outside looking in, a lot of people think that the shooting community is just a bunch of macho guys that don't want to talk to anybody and we're really closed-minded. But that sounds like that's really not what you've experienced in your tenure.
Oh my gosh, not at all. From the very moment that we shot our very first match at SEEPS, the guys I did kind of get a feeling that they were like, oh, a lot, because we just kind of infiltrated a whole bunch of ladies. And I kind of thought, they were thinking, oh, this is going to slow us down, but by that time we had already given these ladies quite a bit of experience shooting. And so they fit right in and did well. But so once they figured out that we weren't complete novices, that all they were willing to offer any advice. I'll never forget when they told me you need to get a speed loader. Best advice you can give anybody: get a speed loader.
Get those little Lupa things that.
Yep.
Yeah. Or Uplula, whatever they're called.
Yeah, Uplula, yeah. Yes. So when he told me to, so that, they were just really good. They've been really good since day one. I know, how with USPSA, we're divided up in an area, and we're Area 1, and that encompasses, I think, 5 or 6 states.
Right.
I had that I'm the first female president of SEEPS.
No, I know that now.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah. They just reelected me for my 4th year. So
oh my gosh, how did I never know that?
I don't know. Yeah. So when I say we infiltrated, we literally infiltrated.
You probably cleaned the place up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. We Tim, when I first came in, Tim was the president, and I was his secretary. And then when he did a 3-year term, and so when he was up, I ran, and they elected me, and then they've kept doing it each year. So I'm on my fourth year,
You
and it
must be
was like,
doing a good job.
yeah, yeah, I hope so. But I'm the first female president, and I've got quite a few female lady match directors. So that's been awesome. And so Sandy Canelk was my
Hmm.
USPSA match director for 3 years, and she in her meetings, the area director told her that our little club right here in Idle Falls has the largest amount of lady shooters than any of the clubs in the whole Area 1 that he's aware of.
Man,
So we were able to bring a lot of women into the shooting sports just here in Idle Falls. So I've been pretty proud of that.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of surprises me because we're not a very big community. You'd think that some of the more dense areas would have more ladies involved.
Right.
So what do you think? What do you think got that participation? What are some of the things you guys did to help garner that amount of ladies coming in?
I totally put it back to Women of Caliber. When we were Women of Caliber, we did like a fashion show, a conceal carry fashion
Yeah, I
show at
remember that.
Cabela's. Yeah. We held all kinds of events, ladies only matches, things like that, and was willing to assist any women that wanted to, range days.
Yeah,
We haven't held that for a couple of years due to COVID, but when we had range days before, we had a booth. Seeps gave us, well, not a booth, a bay.
yeah.
Seeps gave us a bay, and so the ladies would stop by. I tell you a story. We had a lady that stopped in, her mother. It was a mother and a daughter that was probably late teens, close to 20.
Hmm.
And the mother wanted to shoot, but that her daughter was scared of it. And so the mother shot. All of us ladies brought our guns that we used so that they could shoot anything that we used. And so she picked a gun, and we were showing her, giving her all quick fundamentals and that type of thing. And she shot and did great. And so she wanted her daughter to try. And so her daughter wanted to try. And so, but it broke my heart because she's holding the gun. I'm showing her everything, what to do, grip, stance, all of that. And the whole time tears are running down her face. She's
Awesome.
crying. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And so, and I didn't want to just let her give up. And she wasn't really willing to just give up, but she was so terrified. But once she shot a few times and had the confidence of holding the gun and having a good grip and, doing all of that, she was okay. But that just broke my heart that somebody could feel like that was something that to be so terrified of that she was crying.
Yeah, that's what the
It's
media's been really good at making the sport seem scary.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's what we're most proud of. We held so many activities and things to bring ladies in, and to introduce them to the sport and to see other ladies doing it. That it gave a lot of women who wouldn't have the confidence to go do it by themselves, or maybe they don't have a man in their life that can teach them properly or confidently. So by opening that up, I think that's what brought a lot of the women in.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, in my experience, even if it's a close marriage, the
Mhm.
husband can never really teach the wife or the girlfriend how to shoot
Right.
ever, because I don't know, there's some kind of disconnect there that just, like, I can't teach or talk to my wife about shooting at all. Like, she thinks I'm lecturing her about something.
Oh, sure.
And
Mhm.
so it's way easier just to have somebody else do it. Way less stressful.
Yeah, and I think it makes a difference when you can have another woman. So I've got my NRA instructor certificate. My range officer with USPSA and IDPA, and certified pistol. I also am with the 4-H.
Oh, awesome.
Here at Madison County. I'm on my fourth year. I did 2 years of rifle, and then we brought in the pistol. And that was another thing. She puts an ad in the paper needing, NRA instructors to help with getting the shooting sports program started for 4-H. And I'm like, I could do that. And so I've been doing that. And the cool thing about it is not just bringing youth. The youth are our future. They really,
Right.
they're, I even in the gun club, because it's such a volunteer run situation that, all of us are getting older. You've got to bring that youth in, to keep these things going. And so that's what I love about 4-H. But I taught, so I did pistol instruction last year, and then I got a few moms from that who have come and had me do some individual instruction with them.
That's awesome.
So that's another avenue of reaching them. And I had a little girl who, because we take anywhere from 8 to 18 in 4-H, and I had a little girl, and she literally could not hold the pistol up. And so the first day, she, after our first class, she was so discouraged, and I came home thinking I got to do something to help her. And so I just brought a TV tray table and my bags, to set up there, and then and I would rest the barrel on that and have her have all her stance, sights, everything, but resting it, on that bag. And so I brought that to the next class, and her mother came and told me afterwards that she was going to give up, that she couldn't hold it. She didn't want to do it. But her mother talked her into coming to one more class. And she says, if you hadn't brought that for her to do, she probably wouldn't have come back.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. Things like that just keep you going, So
on your firearms journey, have you ever had or felt like there was like stereotypes or anything that you've had to overcome?
I have felt more stereotyped as president of the gun club, dealing with, people, business wise, with the gun club, than I have with shooting and firearms. I haven't really run into anybody. I'm not kidding. The people have been awesome. Some of our best friends have been made at the gun range, at the matches, at shooting. It's the best world, in my opinion. And I have not run into, even at the world championships that I've gone to, they've all been wonderful. Our ROs have been awesome. Squad mates have been great. You almost make lifetime friends there, even though you guys live in different states, but we're all like, get back on the same squad for next year, that type of thing. I really haven't ran into it. The only place I would say I have would be at the gun store. I will say that. Yeah.
Sometimes you get those dudes behind the counter. And, Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I was walking in Cal Ranch one day, and my husband and I were just walking past the gun counter, and there was a guy there with his girlfriend, and the guy behind the counter is trying to sell her a little snub-nosed pink revolver.
Oh, of course.
And I walked.
It's cute.
A few steps past, and I said, nope, I can't do it. I went back and I talked to her, and I was like, no, this is not for you. Let's talk. What are you looking for? That type of thing. And I'm sure I upset that salesman pretty bad, but I don't like the idea of a man trying to tell a woman what kind of gun she should have. So,
well, Corey one time told me, because we worked together at the gun counter there at Guns and Gear,
right?
And she told me once, she's like, "Would you buy your wife's bras and underwear?" It's the same thing. You should never buy your wife a gun. You should take her there and let her shoot it if she can, and let her pick it out herself, because it is that personal.
Exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So, shifting gears a little bit.
Okay.
As far as the defense side, self-defense side, how have you found the industry has been treating ladies on the self-defense side?
As far as like where firearm self-defense?
Well, just like carrying options and maybe firearm design or anything. I mean, that's kind of a broad topic, I guess, in itself. But I was just wondering, like, how your journey of concealed carrying, if it's changed at all, your methodology, your mindset.
Yeah. Do you know, when, I was raised with firearms my entire life, never had a single fear of them at all, or any problem with them. But when I got my first conceal license in 2013, and it was 3 years I had that license before I actually started carrying.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting for somebody who is comfortable and familiar with firearms. But in all that training we did, I learned it was a mindset that you had to make up your mind to use that firearm. If you're carrying it and the situation arose, are you willing to use it in self-defense? And it took me 3 years before I had the mindset to say, yes, I'm ready and I will use it if I need to. So a tote full of holsters later.
You're not a true gun owner if you don't have a tote full
I
of
know.
holsters.
And it's a struggle for women, and that's one of the things I try to share with women, because our clothing is different, our body shape is different. My dad's like, yeah, I just have this holster, and I do this, and and I wear this kind of shirt just so I don't print and this type of thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's real easy. You're a guy.
Yeah.
It's really hard as a woman in that way. And I'm not big on small, tiny guns, which they try to convince women that they need to carry because it's easy to hide or easy to conceal.
I agree. It's a mistake in my opinion.
Absolutely. When you make up your mind to use a firearm in defense, you've got to feel comfortable with that firearm, and those little tiny ones are just not.
Yeah, you really need to be a skilled shooter to manipulate and use a smaller gun.
Yes. And then you've got to be willing to change your clothing and change the, it's a lifestyle change when you decide to carry.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I've noticed in my time in the industry that it is getting better for the lady shooters out there. They're slowly getting to be more options, some better clothing choices. You're not just stuck with cargo pants and a polo anymore. There's more options coming out.
There is.
But it's still lacking, I think, and hopefully it gets better.
I agree. I hope so too.
Yeah, you don't want to be the target, right? It's pretty obvious. Like if you've ever been to a gun show, I mean, you see these old dudes wearing their shooting vests and their cargo pants. It's pretty obvious that they're probably packing a 1911.
Yes.
And it's just like a shoot me first vest is what it is.
Yeah. Do you know? And also, when we were Women of Caliber, we did a little push about on Instagram and stuff. We all posted a picture with the hashtag not a gun bunny.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that frustrates me on a lot of websites and and things that these women are half dressed with holding a gun or with a gun on their hip type thing. And I'm like, you would not be shooting it with that tank top that low for sure.
And I don't really know why the I mean, I guess I do understand their target demographic is like 18 to 15-year-old male, right?
Right.
But I don't understand. It's not realistic, right? And it's not really fair to the ladies in the industry. So it's pretty bad. But at least with a lot of the lady shooting groups out there, hopefully they're breaking those stereotypes.
They are.
So while we're still on the topic of concealed, what's the advice that you give to new lady shooters? Because there's a lot of new women firearms owners out there. In fact, it was a huge percentage of the guns sold last year. Like a vast majority were women.
Isn't that awesome?
That is fantastic. So hopefully we got some ladies listening. What would be your advice to them if they haven't made the journey yet or haven't really got into it?
My advice would be to find a place that you're comfortable going and shooting, whether it's a range or, other ladies, anything like that, but to train. I spoke with a police officer once who, because Women of Caliber, again, we had a booth at a event here in Rexburg, and the Rexburg police had a booth also. And he called me over to get our brochure and stuff. And he said he was doing a class where he had a woman come up to him and say, "Yeah, I just bought a revolver, and but I don't know how to shoot it." She says, and she was talking about getting her concealed carry license and, thing. And she's like, "I'm just gonna, I'm just going to get my license and then just start carrying, she's just like, and he's like, he goes, I couldn't convince her that you need to train with it. You need to learn about your gun. You need to do this. And the one big thing is competition. And I always try to tell women, even men too, the same thing. Don't let the word competition or match deter you. It is excellent training. It's fun for one thing. And then you are training. You're learning how to manipulate your gun. You're under duress because when that buzzer goes off, everything goes out the window.
That's right.
Yeah. So you're working under duress. If you have malfunctions, you've got to clear those malfunctions quickly because you're on the time clock. You're working on accuracy and working around obstacles, and all of that stuff is being done while you're also having fun. And so I try to tell people, come to matches, come and shoot. It's excellent training. It's regular training. Standing at the range, standing looking down a bay and just shooting, standing still, not really the kind of training you need when you're going to be carrying for defense purposes.
Yeah, and I can echo that. When we were doing the USPSA matches there in Idaho Falls in the range, my skills, my accuracy and my speed definitely went up because you're right, you're forced to shoot better. And the thing I also really liked about doing it is you're forced to shoot safely.
Correct.
Right? You're not just turned loose. There's somebody making sure that you're being safe and you're following all the rules. And I loved it, and it was tons of fun. If I could afford the ammo, I'd be doing it right now.
Yeah. Oh, that's got to get better.
It better get better.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more though. I'm seeing more ammo. It's just not like it was cheap, 2-3 years ago.
Crazy. Yeah.
So what's the next step for you? Are you still going to keep shooting matches and everything, or you got some exciting plans coming up? Or
absolutely. We like this last year, my matches went down. I broke my wrist. I can't tell you how frustrating that is. But my first match back, I still had a brace on my wrist, was still healing, and I won the whole match. So
holy cow!
The guys were like, "We're just going to wear a brace to the next match."
Well, it keeps that wrist locked, right?
Yeah. And I had to kind of keep my fingers a little off the grip. It was interesting how it changed my grip, but yet, and this was for rimfire, because I couldn't really do a higher caliber with my wrist, but it was rimfire, speed shooting, rimfire challenge. And I don't know. It was just interesting that you have to pay a little bit more attention when you're hurt. But so that slowed me down quite a bit last year. But so I'm really looking forward to this year. I shoot just about everything. I need to do more IDPA and do that actually with my conceal gun. But I love USPSA. We have, at SEEPS, we're a unique range. Some ranges are USPSA focused only, some are IDPA focused only, that type of thing. And we have everything. Cowboy, Steel Challenge, I-Corp, which is revolver. USPSA, IDPA. So we do PCC matches and carbine matches. We have everything that anybody could want to do. And I shoot just about all of them. So I plan to keep doing that this year. And I'd like to go to another world competition. It was great when it was in Alabama for Steel Challenge, but I kind of heard that it might come back out this way, which would be even better. Like California.
Is it going to be? Oh, it's going to be California. It's not going to be out in Western Idaho. What's that one range called? I just forgot. The one I normally do the rimfire and Steel Challenge.
Parma?
Yeah, Parma.
Yeah, I think they've done the state one, but
well, not the nationals though, huh?
No, not the nationals.
Or internationals.
Yeah, I think it's only been in California. It's only been in Alabama, but.
Well, I wouldn't mind going to Bama, but I don't want to go to California.
I know. Well, that's an interesting state to hold a large competition in. Yeah,
it is. You can only shoot 10-round mags, though, right?
That is true, and that's all it is there. So, it's five targets, so you shouldn't need more than 10. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, unless you miss, like I do.
Yeah, we've focused more on rimfire. We've kind of upgraded it and gotten really good guns, rifle and handgun, and done everything focused on that because I love rimfire challenge and I like steel challenge, which I can still shoot my rimfire in.
Yeah.
And I really like PCC, pistol caliber carbine rifles. Those are fun. And so that's where we've put a lot of our focus on there. But yeah, I will shoot all of our local matches and then try to get a few in. We might at Steve's, we might be having either the state or the regional USPSA.
Oh,
yeah. And then we're in the pot for area, but they got to choose us.
yeah. Well,
So,
hopefully they do. They did
yeah.
that a few years ago, didn't they? Wasn't
Yeah.
that area one that we shot out there? Well, I didn't shoot it, but I didn't
Yeah.
get to go. I was working. It was
Oh,
fun.
that work gets in the way of shooting. You know that?
It does every time.
Yeah.
A bad
Yeah.
day of shooting is better than a good day of work.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, we that was one of the first big matches I shot here was when we started shooting the Women of Caliber ladies, was that area one. So we're rotating back around that we're eligible for it. We just got to see if they choose us or not.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess I better get out and start shooting. Maybe I can actually qualify for something fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't shot for so long. I'm pretty sure I would do poorly.
Do you get any in at the range? Don't you work at?
Well, I haven't been out there for quite a while.
Hmm.
I've just been here, swinging a hammer. It's been rough. So usually I try to get over there and teach a couple classes a month, but I haven't even been able to do that.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome at our range anytime.
I need to get out there. Adam Boyce, you remember Adam, right?
I do. Mm-hmm.
So he's obviously a good friend of the show. He's been on a few times, and Adam and I have been doing some stuff together. He's started going out and shooting matches again. He keeps telling me, "Come on, let's get out there and shoot." So I just need to do it.
Yeah.
Need to just get her done. So you mentioned teaching. You have your instruction. So can ladies reach out to you, for one-on-ones or
Absolutely.
Awesome. Is there what's the best way to get a hold of you that way?
You want me to give you like my cell phone number?
Well, maybe like your Facebook Messenger or something.
Okay.
That
yeah.
might be a little safer.
Okay. Yeah. On Facebook, I am Angela Yancey, is how you can find me. Yeah. And if they reach out to me, with Messenger, I'll be happy to do one-on-one. I'm more basic. I do all the fundamentals, which I love because that's where it all starts.
Right.
And then if they want to get into some more, advanced training and stuff, I usually recommend them off to like Dave Cook and DX3. They're really good, and they do a lot of good classes.
I sent a lot of people over to the Cooks.
Yeah. But yeah, I know that, being a female instructor, I think it helps women to feel a little bit more comfortable. And I would, and if they want to bring the hubby, I'll teach him too. So whatever they would like to, I would love that. So they reach out to me. I can get them started on it, and plenty of guns to have them try also. But if they don't have a firearm, I can bring plenty to let them try and see if they like something.
And we can find you out at the range at Seeps.
Oh,
shoot the competitions.
Just about all the time. Yep.
Nice.
And those competitions are open. You don't have to be a member to shoot the competitions, but our membership is real easy to do, and then you've got access to the range. But yeah, and we have lots of ladies shooting the matches, so I really encourage the ladies to come out. You won't be alone. And I'll shoot on the squad with you, IRO. I'll walk you through every step.
Nice. Yeah, it's not just cold turkey. They just don't throw you in there and
we
say
don't.
good luck. Well, awesome. Well, Angela, thank you so much for taking some time to hanging out with us tonight. I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you thinking of me. Thank you very much.
And again, if there's any advice that you want to give to new lady shooters, now would be the time.
My advice would be to no fear. It's a wonderful thing. It's very empowering. It's very fun. It's an enjoyable sport if you want to get into it. I'd be happy to assist with any steps that need to be taken to get them on the road to going. Our range is very open to lady shooters. Love to have them. Bring the hubby along. Bring the kids along. We work with the youth also. So if they want to shoot in a match, I'll walk them through each little step and do everything I can to help. The youth are our future for sure.
I agree. And like I say, I've known Angela for a long time, and I have faith in her. She knows what she's doing. I've seen her shoot.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again for hanging out with us, and we'll hopefully see you out at the range.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, Angela. We'll see you later.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Hey, gang, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you liked this episode, make sure you let us know and everyone know by giving us a 5-star rating and maybe sharing us with your friends. If you have an idea for an episode or a guest that you think would be cool to have on the show, or you just want to get in touch with us, you can email us at podcast@iishooting.com or hit us up on Facebook or Instagram at Range Minded Podcast. Thanks again, and take somebody shooting.